Hello everybody, my name is Glenn. Today I read the muscular system. We all use our muscle to move our body. Without muscle, you would not be able to talk, eat, walk, sleep, or move at all. There are over 650 muscles that your body uses. These muscles are attached to the skeletons. There are three types of muscle. They are the skeletal muscle, the cardiac muscle, and the smooth muscle. All of these muscles can tighten. Some of these are voluntary muscles, and others are involuntary muscles. Voluntary muscles move only when we think about it. The muscle in our arm and in legs work like this. Involuntary muscles moves when we aren't even thinking about it. The heart is an example of an involuntary muscle. If we had to think about it to make our heart beat, we might forget. Bye. Story questions. Doctors who work with the muscles would be most interested in a machine that takes pictures of the muscles. According to the passage, how do involuntary muscles differ from voluntary muscles? We move involuntary muscle without thinking about it. What is the main idea of the passage? To explain the types of muscle and how to work. What do the three types of muscles have in common? They're all able to tighten. Tornadoes. Have you ever been in a tornado? Have you heard about a tornado? Tornadoes are defined as a rotating column of air. A tornado can be weak, strong, or violent. Most tornadoes are weak. Only 30% of it becomes strong or violent tornadoes. A tornado usually comes down from a funnel-shaped cloud. The wind of a tornado can move as quickly as 100 to 200, 110 to 200 mph. Sometimes a tornado is called a twister. Some people like to chase tornadoes. There are equipments to measure how fast the tornado is moving. Unless you're an expert, you should never chase a tornado. You should not even get in a car during a tornado. A tornado can pick up a car and toss it aside. What should you do to be safe in a tornado? A tornado can toss and throw things all over. It's important to get to a shelter. A tornado shelter might be in a basement or underground. The shelter needs to be sturdy and not a building that can be torn down by the intense winds of tornadoes. Stay away from the windows or doors. Protect yourself from flying debris. All these things can help you stay safe. Constellations. Have you ever looked up at the night sky and wonder about the stars? Do you know that these stars have been there since long before you were born? People have looked at the star in the night for millions of years. Some of these stars seem to be in groups that form shapes. A group of stars called a constellation. Names were given to these group of stars. The best known group of stars is the Big Dipper. It is a group of 7 stars. 3 stars from the handle and 4 stars from the diaper. The Big Dipper is actually part of a bigger group of stars called the Great Bear or Ursa Major. Some say that this big group of stars form the shape of a bear. Another well-known group of stars is Orion. Orion was a Greek hunter from long ago. He wore a belt with different tools hanging on it. If you look closely, you'll see Orion's belt. The Little Dipper is a ground of stars that look like a bit like the Dipper. The North Star sit at the end of the Little Dipper's handle. What was this passage mainly about? How the stars can be seen to form pictures in the sky. Who was the constellation named the Ursa Major? It looked like a bear. According to the passage, who was Orion? He was a hunter. Based on information in the passage, how can you find the North Star? Hmm. Look for a little deep square handle. Venus. Venus is the second planet from the Sun. Venus was named after the goddess of beauty and love. It is the sixth largest planet, as we know as the brightest planet. For millions of years, humans have noticed Venus. The first spacecraft to Venus was in 1962. The first spacecraft to Venus was in 19. There have been many visits since then. The rotation of Venus is very unusual. It rotates very slowly in a direction opposite that of the other planets. Venus is very similar to Earth. It is about the same size. They are also made of similar materials. The surface of Venus, however, has too much carbon dioxide to have any life. Venus is quite dry. It used to have water like Earth, but has dried up. On the surface, Venus has slow winds. There are strong winds on the top of the clouds. Venus does not have a moon. Venus is almost always covered with clouds. The surface of Venus has small craters all over it. Venus also has lots of volcanoes on it. Venus is a fascinating planet. What are the author's feelings about Venus? Interests. The sentence shows how the author feels about Venus. Venus is a fascinating planet. Which question cannot be answered after reading this passage? What is the temperature on Venus? What's the meaning of the word notice in this passage? Goodbye. The asteroid belt. An asteroid is a piece of rock. Most asteroids are made of rock, with some parts being nickel and iron. Many people say that an asteroid is what was left over after the planet was formed. These rocks orbit around the Sun. Most of these asteroids are orbiting between Mars and Jupiter. This is known as the asteroid belt. It circulates as a belt of rock around the Sun. Sometimes these rocks run into one another. This changes their course and can break them into smaller pieces. Some experts believe that these floating asteroids were actually part of another planet that never formed. Some experts call them minor planets. It is said that if all of the asteroids was pulled together to form a planet, it would not be much bigger than the Moon. If one of these asteroids gets together to form a planet, if one of these asteroids get into the gravitational pull of a planet, it will orbit it like a moon would. There have been a time when asteroids has fallen into Earth's gravitational field and crashed into Earth, but this is very rare.